Today I want to talk about hope. The dictionary tells us that hope is an expectation or a desire for something to happen or for something to take place. It is a feeling of trust. It is a deep desire or a want for something to take place or to be the case. But I find that definition of hope to be a little thin for us as Christians and disciples of Jesus Christ. Truly, hope is one of the unique things that we have as beings that are created in the image of God. It is something that really only we do on this planet, and hope is a profound part of what it means for us to be disciples of Jesus Christ. To be sure, hope is about the future. It is about something that will happen, or it's about something that someone will do. But hope is not just about the future. It's something that we do because of what's happened in the past, and it permeates and saturates everything that we do and see and feel and believe here in the present. Last week we spent a lot of time talking about expectation as we walked through the stories of Joshua. Now that we've turned to the book of Judges and we're talking about hope, what's the difference between hope and expectation? I think maybe the best way to talk about the difference between hope and expectation is to talk about it as a matter of trust. Expectation, or anticipation, is about trusting in the end result. It's about trusting in the destination of the journey that we're on. But hope is about trusting in the journey itself. It's about trusting in the process. Imagine that you're on a raft and you're floating on a river. Expectation is knowing that that raft is going to end up where it needs to be so that you can get out of the boat and get dry again and go on with your life. Hope is about trusting that river and the actual journey itself. When we don't have hope, when we fail to trust in the journey, fail to trust in the road, and fail to trust in the river that we're on as disciples of Jesus Christ, it's all too easy for us to become cynical. Cynicism is the opposite of hope. It is the result of not trusting in the journey, not trusting the road, not trusting the river, and allowing that lack of trust to color everything that we see and all the relationships that we have. If we're not hopeful, then more often than not, we end up being cynical. And just in the same way that if we don't trust the end result, if we don't trust the destination, if we don't have anticipation or expectation in the way that we're supposed to have as disciples of Jesus Christ, then oftentimes we become pessimistic. Those who are pessimistic don't trust the end result. And so as a hopeful and an expectant people, we have trust in both the journey ahead and where the journey is taking us. Of course, this kind of trust in the process and in the journey, in the road and in the river, is difficult because it's not something that we can hold on to. It's not something that's tangible and is right here in front of us. It's not something that we grab with our hands, but rather something we grab with our hearts and our minds and our imaginations. Just as Paul reminds us in Romans chapter 8, verse 24, hope that is seen is no hope at all. But if we wait for what we hope for, we wait for it with a great deal of patience. The book of Judges is definitely a book about the process, about the journey. We see in the book of Judges this spiraling out of control, this kind of sinking and cycle of sin that happens within the people of Israel as they get worse and worse and worse. And it looks as though the process itself is going to fail. And yet that's where the hope comes in. We are a people of hope, and we should act as a people of hope, not as a people who are pessimistic about how things are going to turn out, or are people who are cynical about the way things are processing, about the way the journey is going. Rather, we should be a people who have hope in the river ahead. We have hope and trust in what God is going to do in our world and in our lives through Jesus Christ.